record. Go ahead, Christine.
Thank you. Good morning, my fellow SPA 5 colleagues and providers. I hope you're doing well. Very quick update. Like I told Darcy, there's going to be a written report that comes out later today, and then she can send it out. So our biggest funding source coming from the feds is anticipated anytime now. It is the Continuum of Care funding. It comes every year around the summer. They said this time, they said late spring, so we are hoping it's next month. It's a little less than $200 million annually that comes to existing projects that are already functioning in our continuum, that have been functioning for over 10 plus years. And then there's always opportunity for new funding as well through relocation of monies that we may have, or bonus projects that HUD does. And in the last 3 years, they've done this thing which they call the DV bonus, which basically domestic violence programs have had as set aside to support their work because for obviously many years they have been neglected in that whole process. So we are preparing as a continuum, as a county, to put forth the best application. HUD has indicated that all the COVID kind of looseness that they had is going away this year. So they're going back to their very rigid competition. So we're expecting to be scored pretty rigorously. And we are also anticipating to probably not do so well because of the increase in homelessness numbers in our county. So one of the scoring areas that's very critical is reducing the number of unsheltered homeless people in the street or unhoused folks. And obviously we all know that our numbers are going in the wrong direction. So for us, that is causing us points in this competition. One major change that is happening, I talked about it last month, is that we are moving to using more current data to evaluate our projects. So what that means is that information is going to come directly from HMIS as opposed to using reports that were submitted 2 years ago. So I wanted to really share that because right now we are going through a data validation process. So every organization, every project that has Continuum of Care funding has received data from the system that LAHSA has pulled down. They're asking you to validate that data, make sure everything that they're showing is right, and you have to submit it back by the end of this month, May 31st. Once it goes in, that becomes the basis of how you'll be scored. So don't ignore it, spend time with it, have your time comb through it, and make sure that that data is as updated and as clean as possible, and also reflects your work because you're going to be judged on that. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is that, we historically sent back money. This is something we've done for many, many years. And obviously, we're now at a point where we need to figure out what are the root causes of this. We have identified there are about 28 to 30 projects that were identified last year as kind of the kind of frequent flyers in this space. And we took the top 15 that have been sending back money. They're mostly HACLA and HACOLA projects, and we are doing targeted technical assistance for those projects using a third party so that we can really figure out how to help them maximize spending the dollars that they receive, so we're not sending them back. And we are working on figuring out how to roll out that on a larger scale so that all projects that send back money can get this assistance. So moving forward, we are going to be coming back with a report on how we are going to do that continuum-wide. And then the last thing is, you may remember we did a unsheltered application that had kind of just threw out there last fall. LA was able to get $20 million for 3 years over a 3-year period for 20 million each year for 3 years, and it's the unsheltered program for people living in the streets. And the money is going between LAHSA, LACDA, and HACLA. LAHSA was planning to use the money for planning, CES strengthening, and outreach, and they didn't get funded for planning, and there's a little bit less money than anticipated for CES expansion and or strengthening, and the bulk of the money went to outreach, and LAHSA is proposing to switch money from outreach to navigation, because we already have a lot of outreach dollars through Measure H that's doing a lot of outreach. So that's the proposal on the table. It's going to go through the process all the way up to to the city and county, and then ultimately to HUD. But that seems like the best use of these dollars for us, as opposed to doing more outreach. So that's the extent of the report. If there are any questions, let me know. And I would be remiss if I didn't say this. UBH recently got awarded a youth demonstration grant for SPA 5, rapid rehousing, and also some coordination. So I hope next year we will be joining Rachel and Venice Family Clinic and their team doing a presentation together. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Christine. That was absolutely lightning fast, like you said. Appreciate all of that information in a short amount of time. I am looking for somebody from Venice Family Clinic for the next update that we have before the program with for Transitional Age Youth begins. Is anybody from Venice Family Clinic on? I know Yvonne is traveling and she was going to do it. Anybody? I believe Tammy. Okay, well, then we will bump that to the end, and I am going to turn this over to Rachel Stitch at Safe Place for Youth, and she is going to introduce her team, and we are so grateful for all of this, the presentation between SPY and Venice Community Housing. You know, we're excited to learn more about all of the incredible things you guys are doing.
Thanks so much, Darcy. Good morning, everyone. As Darcy said, I am Rachel. I am the Deputy Executive Director at Safe Place for Youth. I see a lot of faces that I know, so it's so nice to see you. I'm also a board member of the coalition, and just want to say that for SPY, you know, we've been a part of this community for a very long time and really attribute a lot of our success and growth of it as an organization to being a part of this coalition. The relationships that have been built and the resources and the information sharing. So just I don't really get a chance to kind of speak in this space and just share that. And I just want to say it's a really wonderful group and we're happy to be here and be a part of it. So with that being said, we are Safe Place for Youth. We provide services to unhoused and at-risk youth ages 12 to 25 on the West Side. That includes housing and supportive services. And our amazing team members, I've got 5 amazing team members here to share about all the different components of our programming and also opportunities for getting involved. And so what I'm going to do is just kick it over to them. And the first person that we're going to have start is Maria Rodriguez, and she is our housing system supervisor. So I'll pass it over to you, Maria.
Thank you, Rachel. And yes, thank you, Westside Coalition, for having us and permitting us some very valuable time of yours to speak here today. As Rachel mentioned, my name is Maria. My pronouns are she, her, ella, and I go by Mari. Either one is fine. So in regards to SPY and my role, so I, on a macro level, really kind of utilize the relationships that SPY has built, as well as within the systems and working with LAHSA in collaboration to ensure that providers know who to go to and when to go to them in order to get folks connected. So kind of on a macro level. And then within that, my team is composed of pretty much the YCS team, which is very central and crucial to SPA 5. So we have a DCFS and probation system liaison who works with DCFS providers and the county and represents our specific SPA to help youth that are aging out of the system, either from foster care or are connected to probation, into CES, so that we make sure we're bridging that gap of youth that are aging out. And then we also have a campus peer navigator, and these two positions are across the LACOC. So it's not just SPI, it's every SPA should have these representatives. And if you need support getting connected to one in another area or to ours, please feel free to reach out. So the campus peer navigator is also pretty much does parallel to the system liaison in that we support students experiencing homelessness that are attending colleges in our local area. So we work really heavily with Santa Monica College and West LA. Those are our two biggest schools. However, we also work with other local trade schools and people in the area, including we've supported students with UCLA and LMU as well, but West LA and Santa Monica is where the campus peer navigator is located. So they are considered mobile access points. And what that means is essentially they are a person, but can support with anything access center related. So they'll have DMV waivers usually on hand with them. They'll be able to connect folks to bus passes and things like that. We can connect them to transportation through Uber and other elements for certain appointments, pretty much anything that the access center can provide. And then we also, if we're not able to do that currently with where they are, in the field, then we make sure to connect them to the access center. And then additionally, there is housing navigation programs. And so that is another avenue that folks can get connected to YCES. So if a person is experiencing homelessness, specifically at TAY, there's those three as well as outreach. So the different ways to get connected would be through one of our mobile access points, which is the campus peer navigation or the DCFS liaison, depending if they're a student experiencing homelessness, if they're a foster youth or system involved youth that is aging out, and then there is our access center, which folks come in all the time to access drop-in services. And then additionally, we also have our wonderful outreach team that obtains referrals through elements as LAHSA. We have a form, a SPI interest form online that folks can access and fill out. And between the outreach team, the CPN, and the system liaison, somebody will get back to them. And so then that's kind of the avenue into CES. And then once they're in CES, although the triage tool is no longer needed necessarily for prioritization purposes with matching, it is still highly encouraged so that folks can get on a list to be considered for housing and to get prioritized. Without that, it is essentially really difficult to connect them to a voucher or certain types of housing. And then essentially from there, making the outreach workers or navigation, the housing navigators will ensure that they're doc ready, and our case managers will also support with the document readiness to get them so that the application process goes essentially smoother and more efficiently once they are matched and hopefully permanently housed. And I see Iberia on here, so I don't want to dive too deep into the housing world, but just a very general and brief overview of the different types of housing. So there's interim housing, transitional, and permanent housing, and folks can get matched to all three. And also that includes, we can also support with folks who may just need some extra financial assistance and have some money saved up, but don't have enough money for a deposit and are experiencing homelessness, but need a place, right? And they found a unit on their own, because that does also happen quite often. So those are kind of the elements. But that's a very brief general overview. If you have any questions, if I need to fill any gaps, please let me know. And I am happy to throw my information in the chat as well. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mari. And yeah, any questions throughout the presentation, feel free to throw them in the chat, and we'll also leave a few minutes at the end if we have time. So I'm going to now pass it over to Cedric Ashley, who is our Director of Access and Engagement Programs, and he's going to talk a little bit about those.
Thank you, Rachel, and thank you, Madi. Thank you for having us this morning. Yes, like what was said, my name is Cedric. I'm the Director of Access and Engagement. And part of my responsibilities are to coordinate the outreach efforts as well as the operation here at the Access Center. Before I go into that, though, I want to paint a picture about the people that we're serving. You know, thousands of people experience homelessness here in Los Angeles. And, you know, there might be a first-generation student, first in the family going to college, and they're sleeping in their car in the parking garage. There might be someone experiencing abuse in the relationship. And instead of leaving that relationship, they stay because they don't have resources to turn to. We often see young people coming from out of state, Wyoming, Texas, Arizona. They have no connection to Los Angeles. And the attraction of the stars, the glamour, the dream of being in entertainment, it doesn't pan out too well. And so they find themselves at our door and they're needing assistance. And so SPY comes in, and our first goal is to create rapport, build a relationship with our young people, and let them know that they are valued and that we care about them. We pride ourselves in having individuals with lived experience. Members of our outreach team are actually part of the Venice community and have grown up here. And so they're able to navigate this community in a way that maybe someone who's not part of the community would be able to do so. We approach the people we meet where they're at. We don't push anything. We don't try to force them into housing. We just offer our services and let them be empowered to tell us what they are needing. And so one of the first things our outreach team does is they go out into the community, they build that relationship, they ask what is needed, and we are okay if someone is not willing to accept housing in that moment. I like to use the Motel 6 logo that says, we'll leave the light on for you. It's at their pace when they want to come into housing, when they want to receive our services, but word of mouth goes a long way. And individuals start to tell their friends about SPY and how they were treated here and how our outreach teams engaged with them. And that attracts more and more people to come to our doors. So our outreach team builds a rapport, they do some assessments, they invite them to the Access Center. And at the Access Center is where a lot of our services are started, much like what Madi was talking about. Someone might need navigation, another person might just need a meal. And we want both to be offered here. Where someone comes through the door, they're offered a smile. Our wonderful volunteers provide breakfast and lunch. This is a safe place for them to hang out and just relax. Nothing is forced upon them, and they're treated with respect and dignity. Part of that process of building trust is never promising something that we can't deliver. So because of the failed systems that a lot of our members come from, be it a failed broken home, a failed education system, or maybe a failed justice system, they're sometimes distrusting. They don't believe that we're going to be able to support them. And so when we say, hey, we're going to be here at 9 o'clock, we're here at 9 o'clock. When we say, hey, we're going to work on your voucher, we're going to work on your voucher. And over time, they learn to trust us and they value what we're offering. And so the outreach team works hand in hand with our CPN, like Madi said, or our DCFS liaison. It works hand in hand with the team here, the case management team at the Access Center. And our goal is ultimately to build that rapport, provide services, and let these people know that they are welcome in our doors. We offer everything from housing referrals, hot meals, clothing and hygiene, pregnant and parenting support. We offer sleeping bags, bus tokens, health screenings with Venice Family Clinic. We, during the pandemic, offered vaccines and the monkeypox screenings, everything that you could need, dental screenings. We want everything that an individual experiencing homelessness would want to be offered in our doors. Again, we pride ourselves on lived experience. And although I may not be young, I like to say we're young people offering other young people service. And so there's someone here that a member could identify with and say, hey, if they made it through a certain situation, then I can do it as well. And so that's pretty much what our Access Center offers, as well as our outreach. But I'm happy to answer more detailed questions later on. I'll leave my information in the chat. And with that, I'll pass it back to Rachel.
Thank you so much, Cedric. That was great. I'm now going to pass it over to Iberia, who is our Director of Transitional Housing, and she's going to share a little bit about all the different types of housing that we have.
Thank you, Rachel. Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm happy to be with you here this morning to talk about the amazing work that SPY is doing within housing for our young adults. So as mentioned by our prior speakers, SPY provides a wide range of housing services dedicated to young adults 18 to 24. And as Madi mentioned, to connect the young adults to our resources, referring agencies submit them through the Youth Coordinated Entry System, which is a system created by LAHSA. And once those referrals go into the system, then our matcher can go, our in-house matcher can go ahead and submit the referrals to all of our housing programs. So it's a really nice kind of like one-stop shop here at SPY. SPY currently has 7 different housing programs, ranging from emergency housing to permanent housing. Our programs are emergency housing, a bridge home, Sunset, also known as ABH, host home, the Nest Family Housing, Roots to Grow, Lighthouse, and time limited subsidy. So we have sites all around SPA 5, as well as other areas in LA. And our time limited subsidy program takes us to apartments all over LA County, from Palmdale to Lancaster, just depending where the young person finds their apartment. So depending on the type of program, we can house a young person experiencing housing instability from 90 days to 36 months. Each of our programs provide comprehensive services, including education, employment services, case management, housing focused services to connect our members to permanent housing. And additionally, we partner with other community agencies to bring more resources directly to our youth. So an example is the UCLA Mobile Clinic to provide medical services on site, and Pelican Cove to provide free on-site counseling to our families at the Nest. Our newest housing program is called Lighthouse, and it will house 15 young adults. They can remain in the program for up to 36 months. And again, we'll provide life skills training, case management sessions, education, employment services, and any other services needed based on the young person's specific circumstances. And another program I wanted to highlight is our host home program. We recruit and we provide training to community members to host a young person for up to 6 months. So if you know anyone that would be interested in an opportunity like this, you can connect us with that person, and we can provide a commitment-free call to answer any questions about becoming a host for a young person. Some of our programs provide aftercare services. So for about 3 months after they exit our program, we try and keep in touch and see if they need any other additional services, or if they're still within the age range, we connect them to the Access Center if they need anywhere, if they need any services there. And the question in the chat is, where is the Lighthouse housing? This one is in Mar Vista. It's about 10 minutes from the Access Center. So we're happy to stay close to the Access Center, so folks, our staff and our young people can still commute over to the Access Center for any other services provided there. And I can leave my information in the chat if there are any other questions. We have so many programs. I did an overview, but each program is so unique and has its own programming, its own teams, its own staff, like the Nest Family Housing Program that's dedicated to pregnant and parenting young adults. We have emergency housing for up to 90 days, ABH up to a year. So it all just depends what the young person needs. They go through a needs assessment, and then we connect them to additional services, but always the end goal is to connect them to permanent housing and help them gain the skills to sustain whatever quality of life that they would like, right? Whether it's reunifying with family or getting their own apartment or obtaining some kind of voucher that then connects them to more sustainable housing in the future. And yes, so I can turn it back over to Rachel, and I will, I'm reading the chat. There's what type of housing will the building on Lincoln provide? That's going to be permanent supportive housing in partnership with Venice Community Housing. Thanks, Andrea.
Thank you so much, Iberia. And yeah, that we're very excited for the journey to be opening. If you drive by, you'll see that the 4 stories have been built, and it's looking amazing, and it's meant to be opening next spring of 2024. So we're super excited about that. Thank you again, Iberia. I'm now going to pass it over to Helen, who is our Youth Empowerment Program Associate.
Good morning, everybody. I just want to start off by thanking you all for having Safe Place for Youth with you all. It's nice to see some familiar faces again and read some familiar names that are on the call as well. I'm Helen. I use she, her pronouns, and I'll be going over, touching lightly a little bit about my experience as a former member here at SPY and now transitioning and seeing the impact as a staff member. You know, coming into SPY for services was quite an experience. I originally went to OPCC, or known as People's Concern, in Santa Monica. They realized how young I was. I was 21 at the time. They referred me here to SPY, and once I came to SPY, I never wanted to leave. I knew this was the place that would help me out. And by that, I just wanted to say that Safe Place for Youth really provides a sense of community, a sense of belonging, and that hope to be able to get back on your feet. You know, oftentimes our demographic, our homelessness demographic, are the ones that are looked down upon in society and pushed aside. So SPY really is that place where they can come and, like Cedric said, feel valued. They have that support system that's consistently there to try to support them. Becoming a staff member and being able to be behind the doors now, it's undeniable how the staff members' compassion and dedication goes a long way. We really try to involve our young folks in different programmings that we do offer. We try to remove that idea of adultism, meeting members in the middle. So folks come in through that door. We just try to meet them in the middle of what success looks for them, whether they just need a meal, some clothing. However, there are still those opportunities where SPY really tries to build leaders and empower young people's voices within the community. They offer, for example, SPY Squad. There's a lot of advocacy opportunities and speaking opportunities to be able to build their leadership skills, their advocacy skills, and not only to learn how to advocate for yourselves, but their peers around them. I think the impact is very evident. Sometimes it's disheartening because I call members who age out SPY alumni. You know, we still have folks that are aged out. They still want to stop by. They don't want to, you know, detach from SPY. And although we've made that soft referral to an adult provider, you know, they always come to SPY. And I think that's because they want us to see as well how their lives have improved. You know, sometimes the seed that we grow, we don't really see the fruits of it until later on. But, you know, SPY really was the one to help nurture and water that seed and pivot their success, just how they've helped me. And, you know, SPY is that place where they come and, like Cedric said, whether it's a meal, whether they need a bed for their new apartment, SPY always finds a way to find the resources that they need. I think that's really special because that says how much we exhaust ourselves with trying to find resources, whether they're the smallest things like tap cards to, you know, finding them housing. And I just want to end with saying that, you know, the lived experience folks that we have on our team, I'm one of them, and my fellow colleague, you know, we really serve as that example and that reminder to our youth that our current condition does not determine and shouldn't determine our position in life, and that SPY has a lot of ample resources and opportunities where members can grow out of their situation and really become successful if that's what they want.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much, Helen. That was so beautifully said. So now I'm going to pass it over to Andrea Murray, who is our Associate Director of Community Impact, and she's just going to talk a little bit about our community-based model and volunteerism.
Thank you, Rachel. And I have to say, it's just such an honor to work with all my fellow SPY co-workers. So great to see so many familiar faces on this call as well. We see you and love collaborating with you all so much. Again, my name's Andrea, pronouns she, her. I'm the, again, Associate Director of Community Impact, which basically means I help people in this community. So I'm here to share a little bit more about in-kind donations and volunteerism in particular. Basically here at SPY, right now, we're accepting all new items. We especially have a high need for new men's clothes. We're really fortunate to get stuff from everyone from Walmart, Everlane, 12th Tribe, of course, Bombas and more. And just always looking for stuff to support our youth members. So I'll drop in the chat if you ever get any questions from your community members or from your friends or family, like how can I donate stuff to SPY? I always love using our website in particular. So I just put the link in the chat. And this is just where we update at the first or second week of every month exactly what we need from SPY youth. I survey frontline staff, we survey youth. So again, this website is incredibly updated. I also wanted to mention too volunteer opportunities. So we have actually, we're having a tough time finding enough volunteers, especially for helping our clothing closet at our Access Center in Venice, helping youth shop and have that shopping experience. We also need volunteers to pick up meal donations that we have, mostly in Santa Monica, and then serve those meals again in the Access Center in Venice. Volunteers do need to go through an onboarding. For instance, a background check, since you do work with youth directly, as well as a 1-hour virtual orientation. So I'll drop that link in the chat as well. Right now, in terms of minors, all of our volunteers across all of our locations must be 18 years or older. However, at our community garden in the heart of Venice at Beyond Baroque, we're happy to accept minors and groups especially. We can accept up to 20 volunteers in that community garden to help with mulching and weeding and planting alongside our garden staff and paid garden interns. And it's a lot of fun and incredibly therapeutic, honestly. So again, I'll put this link for volunteer opportunities in the chat. And honestly, everybody, I'm always around. I'm always happy to collaborate, lift up to PATH, people assisting the homeless, for always collaborating with us for volunteer groups at a bridge home, lift up to Do Good Bus for sending over some incredible groups to help with like furniture building. So let me know if you ever want to collaborate or send over volunteers. I'll put my information in the chat. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Okay, and I'm now going to pass it over to Erica Lee, who is with our amazing partners at Venice Community Housing.
Thanks, Rachel, and good morning, everyone. I'm Erica Lee at Venice Community Housing. VCH is primarily in Venice, but we've sort of expanded beyond the west side and are developing in South Los Angeles, Crenshaw, Inglewood. So we're a little bit all over the place, but primarily in this area as well. So we develop affordable housing and permanent supportive housing, but also want to make sure that, you know, once people are housed, they have supportive services and education programs that help stop generational poverty. So one of our programs specifically for TAY is our Westside Youth Academy high school program. And Darcy, if you can allow me to share my screen, I can throw our flyer up, and I also can put it in the chat. Well, let me try to do one thing at a time, I suppose.
Okay, you are co-host. So you should be able to do that.
So this is our flyer. Our Westside Youth Academy is located in person in Mar Vista, though our school, we partner with John Muir Charter School, is really flexible for independent study after COVID. So if people need access to online or virtual classes, and we are able to provide that and also rent out Chromebooks and stuff if they don't have the equipment. Our youth are generally 18 to 24, but on the upper end, 24, 25, we are able to make some flexibility and exceptions since John Muir Charter School really wants to, as you know, SPY has been saying, meet people where they're at. So we also follow the same model and want to make sure that if people need a high school diploma, they're able to get that in whatever way. So we have classes where they can earn their full high school diploma or prep for GED. Everyone must be low income. And since we do also focus with the unhoused population, we have primarily worked with housing unstable youth and also provide some light case management of helping with document attainment, trying to help with housing in collaboration with SPY often, and making sure that people are sort of, you know, moving from housing insecurity to housing security while also being able to obtain their high school diploma. So this is our program. If you have anyone to recommend, we are currently enrolling, and I will also drop this flyer in the chat afterwards and send it to Darcy. And if you have anyone immediately, you can contact our program manager. Her name is Madi Sol, and her information is on that. And then we do try to make sure that we also have a full program where people graduate. So just sharing some photos of the full graduations that we've done in the past couple of years. As you can tell, they were all a little COVID. We still went through COVID too, but so we try to do a full graduation with a cap and gown, even though we're not a typical high school. Classes are held daily from, well, I guess because there's independent study, people can sort of work on their own time, but in-person classes are generally 8 to noon. So people are still able to work part-time and do different things. It is not a full-time school and flexible based on people's schedules. Any questions? All right.
If you have a question for Erica or any of the other speakers, you can put your hand up, or you could just, if nobody else is talking, just start asking your question. It's really, really important to find out what resources are out there, because you will come across somebody that's experiencing homelessness or has, you know, it is at risk for that, and knowing where to send people and what services are provided is so valuable. So I didn't realize that you guys did a full graduation ceremony. I think that's wonderful. Any questions at all for any of the team members?
Hi, Darcy. I think in the chat, someone's asking in reference to somebody who's not not transition aged youth. I'm not sure if she means that towards the Venice community housing, towards Erica. Erica, do you do housing for outside those ages, 18 to 24?
Yes. Oh, so this is a very complicated question. So VCH provides housing for all ages. However, our interim sites where it's not permanent housing is either for youth or families. Jen, the only place that I can think of right now, I'll put it in the chat. They're called, I believe, Helping Hands, and they focus on seniors and also have housing. And they're a little scattered all over Los Angeles. I think not necessarily in West LA, but they have several homes throughout LA County, and I will try to find that for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I knew it wasn't having to do with the presentations necessarily. I just wanted the hive mind to kind of
you hopefully got the people here to help you.
Yeah, honestly, because I have ran out of my resources on my end.
Let me try to find the helping hands information and throw it in the chat for you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And then just so you all know, we do provide permanent housing. That is matched through St. Joseph Center or Safe Place for Youth, depending on ages. So as Maudie was saying, all the youth are matched through SPY. And then so we also provide permanent housing specifically for youth as well as adults. And then depending on those ages, they come to us through SPY or St. Joseph Center. And VCH's wait list, I think it's closed right now. We do have an inquiry list, so I can put in information or our website, and when that's open, people can apply for affordable housing there.
Any other questions? And Jen, I have that information also. The executive director there, his name is Sean, and it's SEAN M is his initial of his last name at helpinghandsla.org. But I will type that also. But I can't talk and type at the same time. Just gets all jumbled. Anyway,
Thank you.
Really good information. Any other questions?
I do see one in the chat.
Okay. I wasn't following that. Where?
I can answer. The question is, do you offer support to undocumented youth? And I think from VCH's side, our interim shelters do accept undocumented youth. And they come from SPY, so I believe SPY's answer is the same.
Yes, SPY also does support undocumented youth.
Also, there's a question about a youth mom. Do you provide assistance with rental assistance or relocation? Anybody from SPY's team or Venice Community Housing?
So for the youth mom, so we do have the Nest Family Housing Program that's at capacity right now, but we can always accept referrals, and I can share the referral out. And we can also connect them to the Access Center, where they would have a case manager to help them with either resources for the relocation or get them referred to other housing programs in the community. Either way, yes, we can assist.
And VCH also has a family shelter program. It's not specific to youth moms, but we do accept moms of all ages.
Awesome, awesome. So there are resources out there. Ariella.
Hi, I just, it's not a question for SPY or anything. Thank you. This was really thorough and wonderful. I just wanted to announce that Daniel's Place is having their grand opening today officially. Daniel's Place, yeah, we're so happy, moved to Overland in Venice. And so they're open and ready to accept people. They've kind of been in, staying with us at Step Up, and they've been open. They've been doing a soft opening, but today is the official grand opening. So all the TABE resources are back at Daniel's Place.
Awesome, awesome, good info. Elissa.
Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to share that the stepfund.org is open and accepting applications for the 0% loan for housing assistance. So this isn't good for clients that don't have any income or have negative income, but we prioritize people who've been previously homeless, justice involved, or foster youth. So, and we're working hard to scale up. Just a quick note, something that's come up on our, this is us trying to grow, but when you refer a client to the stepfund.org, there is a question there that says, are you at immediate risk of eviction? We're working to change the form. If your client is needs funds to pay for a deposit, like a security deposit or utilities, or moving in for the first time. So for example, if they're leaving incarceration and they're needing housing, just have them check yes on that. Are you at imminent risk of eviction? We're working on our form, but we are paying loans to loans are paid, the proceeds are paid directly to either utility company or landlords. And then there's a 3-year repayment period, non-punitive, 0 interest, no fees. So that's a resource. The average loan right now is about $2,100. We also accept for, this came up last week with one of our referral partners. We accept a lot of different kind of income documentation. So if your clients are working for cash income, we really want to fund loans, and we're going to accept like whatever they can help document their income, we want to accept. And there's also, to the prior question, there isn't any, we are happy to and fund undocumented residents as well.
Awesome. Awesome. You know, we were going to have also a short presentation on the Medi-Cal redetermination, and Venice Family Clinic had requested to take a few minutes and talk about it because it's really, really important. But I believe that both of those people, because I've been emailing them on the side, and that they're out of the office for a conference. So we will get that information to you in, you know, through an email. And I know that it's time sensitive. So if it works to squeeze it in for the next coalition meeting, then we will do that. But important stuff because there's changes. Okay. Any other questions? And also I wanted to mention, you know, to put your name and your contact information. You know, when we meet in person, we get a chance to exchange all of that information and meet coworkers from other agencies, which is really important to network, because you never know when you've got a client that needs, you know, something from a different agency that maybe your agency doesn't provide. So being able to work together is really beneficial. So please put your contact information and then, you know, copy those. Those are really, really valuable. Because I'm recording it, I will get a copy of it too. You can also request that from me. But I guess we will kind of draw it to a close if there is no more questions. Rachel, do you have any final words? Your team is magnificent. Rachel, are you there?
Sorry, I was on mute.
Oh.
No, just thank you everyone for having us, and yeah, our amazing team, and have a great day.
All righty.
Thank you.
Awesome. We've got a training for the faith organizations coming up in June, and it is going to be focused on the risks of having people camping on your property from the perspective of the insurance company. And really, really interesting information. So I'll be putting that out. It is the 27th of June. Double check that. Yep, 27th of June coming up, and I'll be sending out a Zoom for that. So if there's no other questions, we really appreciate you guys coming and taking your time presenting this. You guys, both of your agencies are just so incredible and do such good work in the community. Thank you guys for doing this presentation today, and it will be recorded so people can access it after the fact if they didn't get in. Okay? Anybody? All right, have a great one.
Bye, everybody.
Oh,
Bye, everyone. Take
Melissa,
care.
did you have a question? Just a thumbs up, yay?
Thumbs up that you'll send out the recording. I also, this is a question from a while ago. I loved that training from West Coast Cares. Is that link available somewhere?
Yes, it is. I can send that.
Awesome. And then I think several of you know, but Better Angels is working on forming a lived experience advisory board that will be paid. And we would love referrals if you have them for people that you think would help us guide our programming and marketing. I dropped my email in the chat, and we're also hiring. We've got a couple open roles on Idealist and on our website.
And there is a job fair at Santa Monica College that I put out to the email group. And SMC, I can forward that out again. You can get, it is job and intern fair. So if you want to have a table, or, you know, there are people that are looking for positions, might be a good place to meet up. So I don't remember the exact date, just off the top of my head. It's not in front of me, but I can send that out. I've already sent it out a couple times, or maybe once, but anyway, I will send that out also once more, because that's really important. So
Darcy?
I'll do an email.
Thursday, May 25th is the date for that, Darcy.
Thank you, Daniel. You're awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I read your emails.
Thank you. That makes one of you. No, I'm just kidding. I know sometimes they're a little heavy with information, but good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you, Daniel. So anybody that wants to get a table, they still have some available. I was emailed the other day. So, you know, please jump on that if that's what you need. And anything else that anybody needs to share? Good stuff happening.
Yes, good morning.
Yes.
Hi.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Morning.
I missed your hand up. I apologize.
No problem, no problem. I'm not sure if there's just a space for updates, but I am here standing in for Aya Abbas, the SPA 5 Community Relations Coordinator with LAHSA. And she just had 2 updates she wanted to share with the coalition. First update, just announcing some new leadership in the Government Affairs and External Relations Department within LAHSA. Sally Malone is the new Director of Government Affairs and Public Relations, and she's coming from Supervisory District 2 with Holly Mitchell. And then we have a new Deputy Chief of External Relations, Paul Rubenstein, and he's coming from St. Joseph, so he's very closely connected with our new CEO, Dr. Valicia Adams-Kellum. And the next announcement or update is that there is a summit that is happening May 26, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And this is the Latinos Experiencing Homelessness Summit, partnered and hosted by LA County ARDI, the Anti-Racism, Diversity, Inclusion Department, partnered with Hilda Solis, LAHSA, and California Community Foundation. That is going to be located at 510 South Vermont Avenue, May 26, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I did put the registration link for that event in the chats. And those are all the LAHSA updates for SPA 5. Yes, SPA 5, thank you.
That's awesome. And I am going to put that out also to the in the email. So I'll send out the recording today and some of these things, just because if we send it out next week, it ends up kind of getting lost. So I will send it out while it's fresh. All right. All right, you guys, it's so good seeing you. And I have got to jump because I have another meeting that's mandatory and I need to be on it. So I appreciate you guys, and it's always good to see your beautiful faces. All right, you guys, bye-bye. Hey, Christina.